Well, well, well. The fur is flying this week, friends. Apparently, Canadians are just overreacting to all this 51st state chatter. Oh, we're being sensitive, are we? We just got our little northern feelings hurt, did we? First of all, bless your heart. Second of all, sit down. Because Auntie Crabby's about to give you a history lesson. See, Canadians don't lose sleep over name-calling. You can call us maple chuggers, igloo huggers, or glorified lumberjacks. Doesn't even ruffle our fur. What does make my tail puff up is Trump saying the quiet part out loud, that he wants Canada as the 51st state, and he'd use economic force, not military, to take us. That's not trash talk. That was a threat. That is the plan he is enacting out. And let me tell you something. Canadians know how to handle a fight. You want to talk about hurt feelings? Honey, Canadians survived winters that would make a polar bear cry. We built cities in -40 wind chills while moose watched from the tree line. We eat insults for breakfast and call it Tuesday. So no, we're not hurt. We're pissed. And that's a whole different animal. This 51st state rhetoric isn't some cute little joke we're all supposed to laugh off over poutine and Molson. When a would-be dictator says he wants your country and will take it by strangling your economy, you take that seriously. Because that's not just bluster, that's policy with a plan. When senators and the American media down south are giggling, "Oh, those Canadians are so sensitive, they'll come around," let me remind you that your tourist numbers are crumbling, not ours. And it's not just bad luck. It's because the people who own Canada, the citizens, are standing up and saying, "Not today." We are refusing to bankroll the Trump regime's fantasy of economic annexation. You want our money? Respect our border. Respect our sovereignty. And respect our citizens when crossing the border. If not, we'll keep spending our money in Canada and grow our own economy, thanks to the magician Carney we elected. Sheesh, that man has balls of steel. Now let's talk about the big furry elephant in the room, the fact that most Americans don't even realize we're already at war. Not a shooting war, not bombs and boots on the ground. This is a silent economic war. And the thing about Canadians, we're sneaky little snow leopards when it comes to survival. You think we're just polite? That's adorable. Politeness is our camouflage. It lulls you into thinking we're pushovers. But underneath that friendly, "sorry about that," is a nation that stood shoulder to shoulder in every global fight worth having. And now, we're fighting again. With our wallets. With our trade, with our refusal to be bullied into becoming America's frostbitten backyard. You think this is about feelings? Oh no, this is about survival. And Canadians don't play nice when you threaten our home. Quick pause, my fellow badasses. If you like a cat with claws telling it like it is, hit that like button, subscribe to For the Record, and ring the bell so you don't miss my next rant. Because trust me, I've got a whole litter box full of truth bombs left to drop on this mess. Now back to the war cry. You know what Americans are learning the hard way? That Canadians in war mode are terrifying. You've seen us in hockey fights. Now imagine that with an economy. We don't throw tantrums. We don't tweet threats. We strategize. We endure. And then we win. Look back at history. Vimy Ridge. We didn't just fight. We defined ourselves there. Juno Beach. We were the first to breach the seawall on D-Day. And here's a little nugget Americans often forget. In the Second World War, Canadian soldiers liberated the Netherlands. That's right. When the Dutch were starving under Nazi occupation, it was Canadians who rolled in, fought like hell, and freed an entire nation. To this day, the Dutch send thousands of tulips to Canada every year in gratitude. This tradition is what inspired the annual Canadian Tulip Festival in Ottawa, which celebrates the friendship between Canada and the Netherlands. You want to know what Canadian war mode looks like? It looks like crossing oceans to save strangers because it was the right thing to do. It looks like rebuilding a starving country with our own supplies, because compassion is in our bones. And it looks like never forgetting that when evil tries to take over, Canadians don't hesitate. We fight back. So when Trump says he wants to economically chokehold Canada into submission, all I hear is a call to sharpen our claws. And believe me, they are sharp. We'll fight with every tool we have. Trade, boycotts, alternative alliances, sheer stubborn survival. That's the Canadian way. And can we talk about the American media pretending none of this is happening? Oh, sure, they'll talk about Trump's rallies and his golf games, but mention the fact that U.S.-Canada relations are in a nosedive? Nada. The truth is, they don't want to admit that Canadians have the power to hurt the U.S. economy without firing a shot. Here's a news flash. You're feeling it already. Tourism's tanking. Trade routes are shifting. Canadian consumers are turning their backs on American products in numbers you can't afford to ignore. You think this is just hurt feelings? Wake up. This is economic resistance in full swing. And the longer you pretend it's not happening, the harder it's going to hit when you realize your northern friends aren't quietly sipping Tim Hortons and wringing their hands in despair. They're waging a war you didn't even see coming. So here's the bottom line, friends. Canadians aren't crying in our snowbanks over mean words. We're fighting back against a regime that thinks it can buy us, bully us, or choke us into submission. We want to be friends with our neighbors, always have. But real friends respect boundaries. Real friends don't threaten to take your home and call it theirs. And to anyone still thinking this is about fragile feelings, let me say it loud for the folks in the back. Canadians are not hurt. We are pissed. And when you piss off Canadians, you awaken something ancient and unstoppable. We will win, not with bombs, not with tanks, but with every tool at our disposal until this silent war is over and Canada stands exactly where it belongs. Free, fierce, and absolutely not your 51st state. This has been For the Record. Crabby Tabby meowed. Now hit that subscribe button, or I might just annex your living room.